gonna tell some. So this one, this is a story. Okay, I can't tell this one yet because I gotta call my man T Ski and talk to him about this one because I did talk to him and he says he wasn't part of this experience. So I'm gonna wait before I talk about that one. And it was about the first and last Comic Con I went to. But I'm gonna wait because I got to get T Ski on the line for this one because he was one of my friends back in Flatbush and we used to collect comics together. But I just wanted like here's a funny story. Not funny, but it's messed up. All right, so one time, everybody, all the guys on the block, we were all collecting comics. You know, it was all of us. And this is a guy that lived across the street from me. His name was Chris, and Chris was he was a dick. You know, he was a giant dick, and so he had some comics and shit. So he like he wanted us to see his collection of what he bought because it was always about him trying to top us and everything. Whatever. So he says, yo, you guys want to check out my comic collection, whatever. So we said, yeah, let's check it out. Let's go check it out. So me and Wayne, I think it was me, Wayne, and Jeff, and we go over to Chris's stoop, and we sit on the stoop and we chilling. And he goes inside. He brings out his comic books. So he brings them out, and we're looking at them. We're talking about them. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good whatever. So I guess the phone rang or something. And he had to go inside. So when he goes inside, he tells us, he warns us, yo, don't steal my comics. So at that point, I was like, what am I going to steal this comic for? I live across the street from this mook, so I'm not going to steal this comic book. What am I looking for? Wait a minute. I was looking for something. What did I have? I can't find it. All right. Damn, where did I go with that? That is strange. Hold on. Wait a minute. What? Oh. This is it. Alright, so anyway, forget it. Sorry about that. So Wayne for some reason decides he's going to take one of Chris's comic books. So Wayne takes the comic book and sticks it into his shirt. He sticks the comic book in his shirt, and Chris comes back out. So Chris comes back out, and we continue talking. So me, like I said, I'm not a gangster. I'm more of a prankster. I'm not a gangster. And so we getting ready to leave, right? We're done with Chris. We don't, we getting ready to break out. So Chris decides, he kind of like notices something. He senses something, and I forgot what I said. I said something to Chris that made him say I said something to the fact that, yo, you're not gonna search us or something like that. He says, yeah, let me search you guys. So he searches us. He pats me down. I ain't got your shit. I ain't got nothing. He pats Jeff down. Wayne is not moving. I don't know why Wayne didn't just run, but Wayne stood there. He pats Wayne down, and he goes. He lifts up Wayne's shirt and he takes the comic book out of Wayne's shirt. And then as Wayne's going down the stairs, Chris kicks him in his butt. And Wayne, as he kicks Wayne in the butt, Wayne skips a step going down. Like he went up and skipped a step. And yo, that shit was so funny. Yo, that shit had me dying laughing. And Wayne blamed me like basically like, why did you say so? Why you say so? I had to, man. This is the way I was. We was always doing little pranks to each other and little things to each other, each other's nerves. And I love those guys. Trust me. I'm not telling this story to be mean or anything, but I love those fucking guys. I mean, we did some wild shit. But he kicked Wayne, and I remember all day telling the story how Wayne went down the stairs and whoop, he went up in the air and skipped a step and went to the next. Oh, Chris gave him a nice swift kick in the ass. Oh, that was funny. That was funny. I don't know. Oh man, that was hilarious. But anyway, you know, that's funny. But I had to tap some dudes up for their comics over the years, man. I remember this kid came to high school. It was junior. I think it was junior high. I was in junior high, and no, was it junior high? I don't remember. Well, it was recess. It was recess. And I remember in the lunchroom, he had some comic books. He had nice comic books. And he had them 12-cent joints. Because remember, back in the day when we saw comic books, we didn't go by like the title. The older the comic book, the better it was, the more we wanted it. So if you came to school and you had comic books with the 12-cent logo or 15 or 20 cent, my thing was like, ooh, the older the better. Because I knew that even early on, that the older the comic, the better. So I remember scheming on dude all day long. He was at the lunchroom. I remember lunch. He got his lunch. Went out for recess. I followed him at a distance. I seen him put his book bag down. And I watched him. He was playing. And at some point, homeboy ran like way down in the field, like way down. He wasn't paying attention to his bag. I just walked over. Excuse me. And I just snatched his bag, Took the shit. Jetted with the comics. Took them out. Left the book back there. Went around the block. Went home. I did a lot of cruel. I did some really, cruel stuff to get comics, man. And that was it. I did that to a few dudes. A few cats got to this day probably wanted like, I had that Submariner joint, the Avenger joint, and somebody took it. I was that somebody. Comic books in the hood is different from comic books in the suburbs, and the subhoods. But that's how I was growing up. Because when you're growing up without certain things and you ain't got the money to get it, or your parents ain't got the money to get it, the human brain, the human mind, the human spirit, you'll find a way to get it. And, regrettably, like again, this is not something I'm proud of. It is what it is. It happened. I'm not proud of it, but I did it. I'm gonna end this video and I'm gonna tell you another video. I'm gonna tell you another thing. This one you might find kind of interesting. I'm gonna tell this one. Hold on.